Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics Less Known Classics. This is episode 1084 and Doubleshot number 978. I got two DC trades for you. First one is a really thick book. This is Justice League Volume 4, The Sixth Dimension. Collecting Justice League Volume 4, issues 19 to 28. Written by Scott Snyder and James Tynion IV. Along with Jorge Jimenez, who actually is one of the artists on here, along with Javier Fernández, Francis Menapol, Daniel Sempar, Bruno Renino, and Julian Albaron. The cover art is done by Jorge Jimenez and Alejandro Sanchez, who's one of the colorists on here. There's two major storylines in here. One, of course, is basically kind of set up for the most recent arc of the series, dealing with the whole year of villain stuff. The Sixth Dimension is a six-parter covering issues 1924, where the Justice League have to sort of trap Superman's most deadliest enemy. Is it Lex Luthor? Is it Brainiac? No, it's Mixie Mixoplick, making his first appearance since Superman Reborn. Oh, and he's not the only imp who shows up here. We also have Batmite shows up. Yes, somehow the Legion of Doom had Batmite under their control. I'm like, okay, where the heck has Batmite been all this time? I think though his last comic appearance was in his own miniseries published back in 2015. But I think this might be by far his first proper appearance since Flashpoint, which I think is great. And I love the joke about Batman saying that Jarro might be the best Robin ever. I think it was so funny. Yep. And here's the thing. Few of the Justice League decided to stay on Earth, while the rest of them decided to deal with what was going with Superman in their dimension. I think this guy really is Superman. Nope, it's actually this guy here, the World Maker. Oh, and the Monitor is back. Yes, the Monitor. Yeah, and one of the story plot threads in here was looking for him and the Anti-Monitor, the brothers of this guy. And apparently the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor are, and the War Maker are sons of this woman named Perpetuity, I think that's her name. Yes. So, oh yeah, I thought this was really cool. The fact that when they went to this alternate timeline where this alternate future, and we see Batman, who's Dick Grayson in this timeline, is, I kid you not, wearing the Earth 2 Society Batman costume, which I'm like, that is so cool. Yeah. And the fact in this particular world, this sort of this future, it's the Justice League is referred to as the Wonders, which I'm like, that is an Earth 2 concept. Yeah, I'm not really sure why Snyder did that for, but maybe it's an Easter egg for the Earth 2 series. Or probably an Easter egg for the return of the JSA, which I'll get to them when the following trade comes out. Yeah. And we see this so bright and shiny future. Batman doesn't like it. He asks a question like, where did all the villains go? Where did they go? All of them were sent to freaking Apocalypse. And apparently the ruler of the place, the person who's the warden, is Lois Lane of all people. And apparently Lieutenant looked like it's Oliver Queen, which I thought that was weird. Yeah, Green Arrow is actually in this set of issues. Oh yeah, he's here. And his stuff is actually dealt with later. Yep. So, they come back from space with everybody, and yeah, they explain this basically because, yeah, that was really cool. Scott Snyder had his artists do this. You see, if you read his 0 Year storyline, in the fourth part, he actually did a 2-page spread, which was a homage to Batman's first appearance from Detective Comics number 27. In here, he did a homage to Brave and the Bold number 28. Which I'm like, that is so freaking awesome. The fact that he did that. Oh yeah, I love the fact he did that. Let me show you. It is by far one of the most coolest images I've seen. the fact that he would actually do this. Yeah, I was surprised to see this because this is something I don't think anybody ever expected him to do this. To, well, do another classic homage in story. Who would have thunk that? I'm trying to find it here. Now he did this in Batman Volume 2, number 24. Here he actually did it during the issue of the storyline. Oh, by the way, this is the woman who apparently is behind the mother of like all creation. This alien being that Lex somehow found about. How the heck he found out about this is so far. I think he found out about this during Dark Knight's Middle. Or it could have been No Justice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find the awesome page that Scott Snyder had Jorge Jimenez do. Well, at least one of the writers did. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, at the end of the storyline, that particular one, the Forger decides to... Yeah, the Evolve's like a giant mixoplex here. Yeah, but I can't find it. I know I saw in here where he had an artist basically do a homage to that classic story. And plus, there's even one in here to, like in this panel here with this Superman punching down the table. Yeah, it's similar to that of when the Red Tornado joined the JSA. It's very similar to that. Uh-huh. Here it is, right here. Yeah, any would probably saw this page like, yeah, this is a clear homage to uh, Brave and Bold number 28, which is the first appearance of the Justice League. It's like, okay, we did the first appearance of Batman. He's done that. Now he's in the first appearance of the Justice League, plus the first appearance of the Robot Red Tornado, which is awesome. So, excuse me, Justice League come back after dealing with the world, basically changing the world maker's plans by offering membership in the Justice League, which, hey, that's something new. Also offering the Monitor membership in Justice League. Oh yeah, I thought this was also really cool too. They made a reference in here to the original Crisis of Infinite Earths. Awesome. Thank you, Snyder, for doing that. Because that's an awesome awesome series. So apparently that was one of the many crises that happens, was Crisis of Infinite Earths. So it looks like though it kind of did happen. Somehow. Yeah. And after the Justice League get back to Earth, apparently Lex Luthor, this apparently happened on panel, he apparently decided to reveal to the world what Justice League did in outer space, where they broke the source wall and damaged the multiverse. And everybody started confused, hatred, stuff like that. And then he decided to lock himself. Oh yeah, he decided to do something probably one of the dumbest, probably the most unlex thing to do. Okay, dissolves LexCorp, donates every single cent of his fortune and gives it away, which is completely usual for him. Locks himself up in his tower, and then he dies. Yeah, he apparently died. Of course, it would have been nice if we get a chance to see the DC Unit of Villain one-shot here. Also, apparently Legion took time to kidnap Waller and drain her mind of knowledge, which, okay, Amanda Waller, the woman who's behind brains behind the Suicide Squad. Of course, she probably knows some government secrets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then Lex comes back as sort of a clone, where he's got gray skin, long fingers, and he's a lot thinner than he used to be. Because if you ever seen Lex when he's in his suit, he is like very bulky guy. Here he's like a stick figure, and he's wearing like this green suit. And we also have him doing this whole infamous offers thing that he did at every single tie-in to Year of the Villain. Yep. And apparently the heroes have gone underground dealing with Lexus because of Lex's like bullcrap that he did. So we have Green Arrow and the Middleman appear in this storyline, along with some other people, and well, this is basically set up for the Justice slash Doom War storyline, which started with the very next issue and ended with issue 38, a 10-part storyline. I can't wait to read it, and my guess is they're probably going to collect that entire 10-part story, plus issue 39, which is basically Scott Snyder's last issue he did for this series. Yep. This book is fantastic. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. It's really, really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Next up is some book from someone named Scott Lobdell. This is Red Hood Outlaw Volume 2, Prince of Gotham, collecting Red Hood Outlaw number 32 and 36 and the third annual. Yep. This book has, well, Jason Todd, basically he's running the Iceberg Casino the storyline. And he apparently has Oswald Cobblepot in his panic room. He has his former enemy Susie Sue working for him, along with her sisters, and Bunker. I mean, I get Susie Sue, which her connection to Red Hood, because these two have been connected since the start of the original Red Hood Outlaws series in 2011. As in the case of Bunker, prior to him showing up in the series, Bunker has had very little connection with Red Hood. I think it's like the only time we encountered him was during the Death of the Family storyline. Yeah, my only guess is the reason why Lobdell decided to make him a supporting character in this series, because he created the character, and he's by far one character he created during his Teen Titans run that was actually popular. Yes, even I like this character. Though there's no mention of his boyfriend in here. No. Which is kind of weird. Also, Jason Todd has the current wingman who popped up in the previous story arc working as his chauffeur and bodyguard. In some ways, he's kind of like a dickish Tony Stark in a way. Where he runs his own casino, he wants to take on the Gotham Underground. Yeah. Also, he sets back Penguin a ways. Yep, he does. Batman makes a brief appearance here because of course he does. And like usual, he's his usual self. We're not liking what he sees. Yes, Batman is that freaking paranoid when it comes to stuff like this. He doesn't like what he sees, he tries to take it out. He is that nutsy about it. Heck, he even doesn't like it with other vigilantes who were inspired by him to take up a mask and beat up criminals in Gotham. You think, he probably, yeah, this is how he's been written over the years. He's written to be pretty much a dick to people. Yeah, who's not associated with his family. Yeah. But this storyline here does end Bunker's association with Red Hood because of him lying about Cobblepot being alive. Yeah, and what about the annual? The annual is simply put a follow-up to what happened. Pretty much picked up where it was last time that Bizarro and Artemis were last seen, and their adventures on the world they landed on, and then pretty much setting up the very next story arc of this particular run, which that story arc wrapped up with issue 41. I know the series is going to continue because last issue came out last month. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but this is really good. I'm loving the storyline. I think it's really good. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. If you wonder who the artist on here is, it is Pete Woods. Yeah, he's the artist on here, along with Adam Paluda and Stefan Zavagia. The cover art here, this is done by Cully Hammer, who's an awesome artist. Oh, there is one thing I forgot to mention on this particular book here. Let's see, what is it? Oh yeah, the fact that Essence came back. Yes, Essence. Excuse me. As far as I can tell, this is the first time she show up in this series since Lobdell's original run of the book. It has been that freaking long since she's last appeared. And she has a brief fight with Jason Todd, where Todd defeats her by stabbing her own sword, and then she gets absorbed by her. It's like her sword's kind of like the Soul Taker. Yep, and then he just puts it in his safe, and, well, yeah. My only guess is the reason why Lobdell had Jason Todd do that to her, and this is my personal theory, I think she was just a loose end from his original run that he really wanted to tie up so badly. And I've been loving this current era of, like, since this book was basically restarted back in 2016, the book has become a heck of a lot better. It's kind of like the book got a facelift, because a lot of people really have not been liking what Abdel's been doing on this particular series, especially as how now they have no problem when he writes Red Hood. That's not a problem. It's how he wrote the other character was a problem, because he kept using Roy Harper and Starfire in the series. Well, that lasted up until like issue 40, and the book was relaunched to like Red Hood / Arsenal, which is a pretty decent book. Heck, he made Joker's daughter interesting. And then after he left, and after like that character went over the Titans, my guess is Lobdell's like, okay, so I'm gonna do my own Dark Trinity. By the way, that was actually the name of the first story arc, Dark Trinity, where he teams with Artemis, someone who's similar to Wonder Woman, which I'm like, and be a love interest to Jason Todd, which I'm like, that is very cool. Along with Bizarro, who is pretty much just a clone of Superman. Yeah, one of many different failed clones of Superman. Yeah. But I've been loving this era ever since it restarted. I mean, it's only era's been going for a little over 3 years, and it's really good. I've never come across a bad issue of this series. It's just that really good. Just that damn good. And the thing with Jason Todd is, like, since he's become like wearing this outfit, like wearing this mask, I think he's appeared roughly twice outside this whole series. Like, I like the fact Lobdell has kept him confined to his own book, so he's not spread all over the place. Yeah. And the only time he appeared outside this book was a couple of Shifting Titans. Like, he appeared at the start of Adam Glass's run, and he appeared for one issue of the second arc of his run, which is fine. Yeah. But yeah. Not much else to say about these issues, except that these two trades, I think, they're really good. Okay, so that's it for this particular review, and that's it for videos today. I think tomorrow I probably have about one video probably due tomorrow, and probably that's Ruby, and maybe Rama half, and that's pretty much it for tomorrow. Yep. But do see you next video tomorrow. Bye.